Good evening. Welcome to the Environmental Services Building Committee meeting for November 6th, 2024. I will call the meeting to order. Does anybody have any declaration of pecuniary interests? Okay. We do not have any delegations. We can circulate the prior meeting minutes would have been circulated at the council meeting. We can move on to business.
So the business for tonight's meeting is tender documents for the new building. And there was a motion passed at the last meeting to take us to this point. And then once the engineer had drawings already, we were supposed to bring it back to committee and council for approval to go to tender. So that's what tonight's meeting is, to hopefully make a recommendation that council approve us going to tender. And then this will go to the council meeting. We're going to have a council meeting next Tuesday night. And then we'll hopefully council will approve it at that point, and we'll go to the tender process right after that. There are a few documents that were circulated with the agenda, and it's the architectural and structural drawings, mechanical and plumbing and electrical drawings. I don't know, maybe Jay's kind of been leading this. I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about.
No, but as far as the electrical and plumbing, it's all basically pretty straightforward. The floor plans for the floors are there, if anyone. It's pretty much the same for the last, and since it was decided it'd be cheaper to go 2 levels rather than 1. So if we want to go through them, we can. I believe everybody's seen them. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer to the best of my ability. I'm not sure how detailed you want to go through the drawings.
I mean, we've gone through the drawings at previous opportunities and not much has changed from them. So
Yeah.
I think the floor plan is pretty much established.
Yeah, the only thing that may change, dimensions might change very slightly on the room measurements due to the fact from the engineer saying depending on which company ended up supplying the steel building, it could change where the steel girders go slightly one way or the other, from different manufacturer to manufacturer, but it wouldn't be significant. It would be small adjustments. Wouldn't change the overall size of the building, just one room might be half a foot smaller.
I'm not understanding now.
So the framing of the building
Right,
is all steel construction.
right,
So different manufacturers of the building. So say Wellington
Right.
Builders is they're gonna bid on it. They may use X steel building supplier. And like prefab.
okay, because if you're following the drawing, the walls go where the walls go on the drawing, right?
Well, what happens once they give me the dimensions, the actual building, the building supplier will do the final layout drawings. The foundation will be the same.
But it's modular. Is that what you're saying?
It's basically all bolted together. They'll
Okay.
pour the foot in, like the foundations, and then the building gets bolted together.
Okay,
It just depends on spans and design. It may be slightly different.
okay, I get it now. It just didn't make any sense. You have a drawing. You follow your drawing.
Yeah, well, they might have to slightly adjust the drawing
Okay,
to fit the steel building engineering. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's got the offices, the lab, change rooms, and washroom on the main floor. And then the upstairs is storage space, offices, a washroom and a utility room.
and I know that you told me this before, but I just wanted to get it out in the open. You said like, there's room. Like there's extra room if you needed extra room, like with the storage room. Like,
Yeah,
you're not,
there
like in
is,
case we need more.
the storage
space
room
down
is
the road.
open right now, but it would be just a matter of putting partition walls in.
Right, I just
Right
mean,
now, they're leaving it fairly unfinished to save cost. But yes, if we need
Like-
something,
room to grow
yes,
if it was necessary.
there would be room to go grow on the second
Okay,
floor.
yeah,
Um,
For the record as well, when Jay and I went over these, we discussed what rooms were where and what was taking up what space. And I asked whether it would decrease the cost if we reduce the footprint in any way, and the answer was no.
Jay, can you touch on the engineer discussing the advantages of going to tender now and building in the spring a little bit?
Yeah, so right now, they'd like to get it out to tender, one for budgeting, two, price changes if they can, if we can get a signed contract on, they can lock in pricing rather than getting increases for next year. And with the desire for work, people, like companies are trying to find work and get work pre-booked for 2025. They feel there'll be more competition or better pricing in the competition to get the quote, and get the tender bid, winning bid on the tender. Like, we all agreed it was beneficial to get it out and try to get the best price now locked in.
And then the tender that we're going out with right now is to do all of this, the structural work, mechanical and plumbing and the electrical, or will be, is this just the building we're gonna do and then we're gonna look after the plumbing and electrical separately?
No, this will be for the building, all the mechanical. The only thing it doesn't include is the moving these plant controls, so the SCADA system and some fiber optics over to this building. And I have asked Langtree, who does all our SCADA work, they're working on a quote for that cost, so we could add that in as well to the budget.
And that's something you want them to do because they specialize in that equipment and they know how it works.
They've
and-
done all the work, all the programming. I'd like to see a single source because they have knowledge of how it's all done right now.
I've seen them do that exact thing on an expansion. It's really intricate.
Yeah.
With all the wires and,
Yeah, but the tender that will go out will be complete construction of the new building and finishing of the new building. It just won't include that portion.
I don't actually, Jay went over it with me again, recently. And had his new drawings, so we talked about, you know, the workroom in the lab and all other things that were necessary. And then that storage area upstairs that could be used for expansion. If it ever happened, that we needed more space.
One other thing we have talked a little bit is there's some soil that has to be moved.
Yes.
And is that, are we talking about doing that on our own? Or is that part of the tender as well?
My idea was to try to save some cost. We get a contractor come in with just an excavator. And then we have access to the equipment for the loaders. We could move it ourselves. And my plan is to put it to the most west portion of the village property. And basically create a pile north to south, kind of parallel to the river. And then plant some trees on top of it to get a little bit of a curb appeal. So when you're sitting at like where the fry, excuse me, the fry bus is, like the bridge parking
Yeah.
lot, it would be a bit of a hill across towards like from St. Clair to or sorry, Alexander to Michigan, and then just plant some trees across.
But that's not our property, is it?
Approximately, no, I would say just slightly less than half of that, maybe a third of that grass area, the park area is village property, according to the county,
GPS.
GPS. And I know, a couple of years ago when the lawn services changed for the
Mhm.
bridge. They actually told us they weren't gonna cut that because it was village property. And then they ended up cutting it, and we were planning on cutting it, and then they continued to cut it anyway, so. They have, according to the county GPS, we own a portion of that. So the plan was, it was discussed a while ago, and I had quotes for it. We're gonna put a new fence up. We're gonna actually extend the fence, put the gate, there's a gate right now to the north of the aeration tanks where we have to get trucks in. They'll back up, we have to open the gates and they'll back in along the tanks. We're gonna move that gate out to the Alexandra. And just put that fence in, so the village property was fenced off.
I'm still on the hill.
So it's a berm, we're looking at.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
so you're
long-term
talking
berm.
like a berm.
Yeah, so
okay.
right now,
Not like,
A
yeah,
berm,
yeah.
a cuttable bit.
yes, okay,
you drive along Alexander,
Right.
there is that burn there now.
yes,
So that was soil that was moved from construction of the plan originally, back in
Okay.
'92. So we're just gonna take that, move it to the other side of the property as
okay.
as a berm and
Mhm.
then plant trees on it.
Okay.
I did talk to Clinton. Because Laws does have that easement through there.
Mhm.
He didn't have any issue with what we were talking about, so I don't think it'll be any problem that way, but.
And there's also been an archaeological review of this, right?
Yeah, geotech was done and archaeological was done. We have both reports and there was no concerns identified, so.
So we do have a recommendation that we would like the committee to consider.
So I will move that the Environmental Services Building Committee recommend to council that we proceed to tender for the building of the warehouse office building at the Environmental Services.
Oh, seconded, sorry. I was thinking,
Think about it.
no, I was thinking about the date, so we have a meeting. So by the middle of November, it could be going in for tender, hopefully, if approved.
Yeah, if we give approval next Tuesday night, like I think they're pretty close to being able to just
Okay,
issue it right away.
Yeah, when I spoke to Devin, MIG, he said as soon as they approve it, should be fairly quick to get things rolling.
There is no next meeting date scheduled at this time. We can move to adjourn.
seconded,
So next Tuesday, after what, committee day?
which has always been our optional meeting.